Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Sean and Wawa's podcast. How are you, brother?
I'm good, brother. It's just good to be back on the podcast after a little bit of break. Yeah. But hey, so much to talk about. So how about you?
It's funny because I texted you and I was like, I feel like I haven't talked to you in a while.
right.
You know, we talk all the time. I'm good. Busy with summer. I have to ask you something. As an experienced dad, how do you handle summer with the kids? I mean, it's crazy. They're at home all day.
It's never the same every year. I'm telling you. You have a variety. You have some ups. You have some downs. But sometimes when I think about the kids, summertime. Oh Lord, the food's gonna be gone. Put it out the refrigerator. And we're going to have a complaining. We're going to have them sleeping in and they're on their phones until I won't see them until maybe noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Finally come out their room. They have like fighting and stuff. This is for older people who have older kids, okay?
My kids are up at like 7 in the morning. They're like, I wake up. They're like, what are we doing today, Dad? I'm like, I just want to sleep in a little bit. Can we sleep in? Like, nope, ready to go. Let's go now.
Right. So I actually miss those days, you know. But as I get older, it's a little different now. But my son, he's in Europe right now for a month, and he's enjoying it. So we were Marco Polo together. So he would show me his room, his deck, where he's flowing like a few minutes walk to the beach. Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, all that. So he's there as a change student, you know, for interpreting. My girls are home, family's home. It's good. I spend time with them. No, I'm trying to make their chores a little bit more effective. You have to do this. You have to get up. You have to do that.
I need to work on that.
But it's summer, so more family time, which is fun. Yeah. So, but sometimes I have to force that family time. Let's go. Because they just want to be with their friends all day. I'm like, okay, fine. But hey, can't complain.
It makes me think of somebody once told me, well, two things. One is the days are long, but the years are short.
That's right.
That's right. Wow, it really put things into perspective because my kids are younger. So, I mean, they're definitely, there's a lot of energy. Second thing is, I totally forgot.
It'll come back. Oh, that's what I want to say. So, but but the thing that happens for the summer is also a time for changes to prepare for the fall or the next year. I think I don't mean like, I need to start exercising, make myself look good, or anything like that. Right. Eat fine. That's normal, but it's good. We have to do that anyway. I mean, but it should not be the focus. It should be a transition of, okay, what do I need to do right now? Relating with work, relating with goals, relating with family, relating with myself. You should be doing that every day, but people typically focus that only on the summertime or spring to prepare for the summer, you know? Right. But hey, it's life. It goes on and on and on and on, but that's part of growth. And so there's a lot of things that's happening. The summer it's more open for you to just do it. Yeah. What are you waiting for? For me, I need to finish off several projects, and one is writing a book. I'm writing a book.
What?
I've been posting on for a long time, and now I'm like, I need to get back on it. But
that's awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I've always wondered about that because I've had people like send me messages like, you should write a book. You should share your story. And for the longest time, I've always been, I'm not ready to share my stories. But at some point soon, I might feel ready, but that's exciting.
Yeah, it's been years. People like you, people been not asking you to write a book. I've been asked that for a long time. And I was like, yeah, okay. Then I thought, okay, fine. Just write it and stop, then write and stop, on and off. And then I was like, just finish it.
Do you have any like specific like topic or theme that you're trying to?
Well, for this
autobiography?
No, I am afraid to do an autobiography. I don't know why. I mean, I feel that's too revealing, you know. And I'm like, some things are best kept to yourself, you know. But this one's more of as a deaf person going through music world, entertainment. What was it like as me growing up in hip hop? What to do? What the experience? Yeah, so it's coming. So I don't know if people I don't want to know about your music stuff, or people wouldn't want to know about the music stuff. But this perspective, I mean, it's different than common. With hearing people go through with common music, they're learning their style. What makes things like this stands out? Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So yeah, I'm not going to reveal much, but that concept.
I'm really trying to hone in on the music stuff.
Yeah.
For the past few weeks, I've really started to like trying to get that itch to finish projects. I think that's the hardest part of being a deaf musician is finishing things. Now you always question, how could it be better? How could I change this? Always. Is this good enough, or do I need to go back to the drawing board? You know, so I'm going through the emotions, like, you know, trying to pick the songs. I've picked all the songs. I'm getting there, but I still feel like, you know, I will get there.
We always have that kind of what if, or is it enough? That quote, is it enough? Am I satisfied with it? We will always be thinking about that. Sometimes the question that pops up in my mind, am I doing enough?
Yeah.
I ask myself that a lot. It hasn't really been a positive thing. It's more of, the question I would ask myself, am I doing enough? So what am I missing? Am I helping enough? Am I giving back enough? And then I have to sit and think, okay, I've been doing a lot. What is enough? You know, so
it's like access. The other day, I posted something about music access and how important it is. And I love that one person called me out. A couple people called me out saying that my first album was not accessible on streaming platforms. So I took a step back and I really reflected at the journey from 2010 to 2012 when I was making that album and how access was so important to me. Because back then we didn't even have streaming services, or they just started. Back then we had iTunes, but access was different back then. Now access has improved tremendously. So for the past week, I've also found myself reflecting on those old songs, because I'm sure you're like me. Once you put out a song, you feel like it's out there. But now the technology is improving and it allows you to go back and revisit those old songs. And that experience alone has really made me rethink how I put music out and how I want to put out this next project. And it's daunting because, I mean, it's different for us as deaf musicians because we come from a different way of thinking. We're not just thinking about, does it sound right? You know, is this vocal performance good? We think about those things, but we think about, okay, when I put this out, how do I want to put it out? And what I mean by that is like, how do you want it accessible? And it's really cool to see more artists today making their stuff accessible. Like, for example, Taylor Swift, she put out her new album. All of the songs had lyric videos. So I'm thinking like lyric videos, cool. But really, honestly, are they really that accessible? They're accessible, but for my audience, I feel like I need to sign all of the songs. I need to make them accessible with lyrics, with sign language. So it's just that extra. It's like, whoo, the pressure's on, you know?
Wow.
So just thinking about all of those things and making sure that I cross my T's and dot my I's to make sure that I put out an album that I myself, as a music fan, would want. It's a lot.
It's nice that accessibility is starting to be more recognized and people are starting to adjust to it accordingly. So it's nice. I'm curious what it will look like 5 years from now. Especially with people with disabilities. Feeling, oh, you're representing me.
Yeah, you just made me think, like, is there an audience for people? So you talk about writing a book. Mm-hmm. Is there an audience for people who want to watch it like an ASL? Audiobooks are popular. People get in the car and they leave the audiobook on with the narration and they drive. I don't get it. Like, for me, I feel like, what is this person saying? Like, what are they talking about? Because right now with my kids, my wife downloaded audiobooks for them. So we're in the car and I'm just driving and I'm like, I find it so annoying. I find it annoying because I don't understand what's going on.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense.
There's no words or captions or anything.
So you think this should happen?
But it makes you think about sign language. Okay. If there was a sign language version of your book, do you think there's an audience for that?
Yeah. But it have to be at a place where you're not driving. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Said, I drove 6 hours and I watched 3 movies on the way. I'm like, what? No, don't do that.
Don't do that. That part is terrifying. But I think for a silent version of an audio book will be great. I mean, we have that with interpreted movies.
Yeah.
So for books would be cool to have, I think that, there is an audience for it, definitely.
It just makes me wonder if somebody were to make a Harry Potter book accessible in ASR, how many hours do you think it would be?
Real long. That would 30? Be like binge.
It's like 30 hours for one book. It's like,
but yeah, I believe that would be a great thing to do. Wow. Yeah.
Hey, it just made me wonder about that. But that leads me into our theme of today. It's Disability Pride Month. What does that mean to you? I'm just curious. What does that mean to you?
Regardless of your disability, you are perfect. Your disability identifies who you are. You're part of, I have this, but guess what I can do with my disability that will help you? It says teaching moment. Man, for me, that's it.
I love being deaf. I mean, to me, being deaf is like the number one thing in my life. Mm-hmm. Everything revolves around, my whole life experience is about being deaf. It's something I understand and how I connect with many other people who are also deaf. Maybe we all have different experiences, but we do have a shared experience as well. And we're able to discuss. And I just love, talking with people from different walks of life and their experiences. And just being proud of who you are.
It's amazing when you meet people where they got their start. Some were born with the disability. Some just develop it later onset. Sometimes through a tragic situation. But when I look at and talk with these people, you see what their growth, what their journey, what they've gone through led to their, I'm proud of who I am today, you know? For me, born deaf by heritage, I didn't know that until after I graduated college. But I learned signs when I came into college, okay? So I was curious, there's people like me in college? Really? That part of hearing? I would tell people, I'm hard of hearing. I'm hard of hearing. Fine, you identify that, be proud of it. No one can tell you, no, you're not. You're deaf or anything. Whatever. You decide that. But I didn't fully understand what it's like in that situation, being in the deaf community. What was it like? Oh, I must sign all the time. Oh, learning to pick up on signs was great. I remember I was a little bit embarrassed of being a person that wears a hearing aid and stuff, and I have to sign. People look at me funny and stuff, but then I realized I grew up, people look at me funny anyway.
When did you realize that this is who I am?
Oh, hey.
Like, how old were you? Do you remember?
Yeah, 17. Through a bet.
Through a bet?
I'll tell you the story. My roommate, one of the champ roommates I've ever had over the years as a freshman. He was from New York. At Gallaudet. As a freshman at Gallaudet. He was born and raised in New York, but lived in Tennessee. But he was very hip-hop, bro. Hip-hop. Latino brother from another mother. So what happened was, I remember we came in new signage program, NSP. We were learning sign at the same time. And I remember he was already knew some signs and I was just learning. So one day I was telling people, we was having a conversation and people would ask the question, you deaf or hard of hearing? I said, I'm hard of hearing. And he was like, no, bro, you deaf. I'm hard of hearing. No, bro, you deaf. I said, wait a minute, I can speak on the phone. I can do this, I can speak, I'm hard of hearing. He said, some people can do the same thing, but you're deaf. So he was telling me, so I was resistant of accepting who I am, whatever. So he said, fine, I can bet you $1 to prove that you're deaf. You want to bet me on $1? Okay, fine, I can buy a lollipop with that, fine, so no problem. So we went to the library. He pulled out, I think it was 4 or 5 dictionaries. Excuse me. About 4 or 5 dictionaries. Put them out there. He said, bet $1, right? I said, yeah. I was all cocky. I was like, yeah, you can't tell me anything different. You want to tell me I'm different? Who are you? No thing. And he says to find the word hard of hearing. Now, this was in 1988, okay? So, of course, dictionaries evolved since then. So I was like, find the word hard of hearing. Fine. I picked up one. He said, pick any dictionary. Fine. I picked up one, put it down, picked up another one, put it down, picked up another one. I said, what's going on? What's going on? He said, you didn't find it? I said, no. He said, fine. Fine. We bet $1, right? Pick any dictionary you want and find the word deaf. So I was like, so I picked the Webster dictionary. Poof, you man. Found the word deaf. He said, okay, tell me what it said. So instead of signing, I mumbled. I was like, blah, 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 blah. He said, what? Sign? What you say? He said, come on, we're learning sign. You have to pick up. Come on, sign it. Sign. It said, at that time, it said little or no hearing at all. Okay? Little or no hearing at all. So I was like, he said, so even though you hear a little bit, you're still deaf. I was like groaning about that. Then he said, here's another thing I want to prove to you. Suppose we go out and talk, and you talking with this hearing person, then he's saying something. And then I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing. I didn't get what you said. Can you repeat yourself? And then another person comes up and tap that person who that hearing person is talking to. Hey, what's up with him? first thing come out that person hearing person's mouth is why, oh, he's deaf. True. I lost $1. He said, thank you. So I lost. So because of that, I was really thinking. So people view the deaf, even though you tell them you're hard of hearing, you have to emphasize teaching that. Okay, fine. So it took me like 1 week, 2 weeks to understand that. He said, just be proud. It's okay. There's nothing wrong. Right. You know, and I was like, oh, okay. So he said, and if you want to pick up more on your sign, just take your hearing aid off. Just take your hearing aid off. Your eyes will open. You start picking up this stuff. So I worked on that challenge and I realized, oh, okay. I'm deaf with the talent. Okay. I got to skip. So because he opened my eyes to that, that's when I was like, I'm proud to be deaf. Yeah.
Right. For me, I was 17 as well. That's just interesting. I was 17. I was a junior in high school. Mm-hmm. And I remember that morning, I woke up that morning. You have to remember at that time, my junior year of high school, I was president of the junior NAD club.
Okay.
So, you know, I was getting a lot of experience what it's like to run the junior NAD. You know, for me, my big thing was I just wanted to host a big event at the end of the year. But I remember it was that year, you know, I was definitely on a journey of where I wanted to go in my life, what I wanted to do with my life. And I remember waking up one spring morning in my bedroom, woke up, and for some reason I told myself, Sean, you're going to be like this for the rest of your life. So accept it. And it sounds so simple, but that was my affirmation that, you know, this is who I am, because I struggled with who I was for a long time. I kept thinking to myself, like, why am I deaf? I love music. I love all of these things that all of my hearing friends, my brothers, my family can do. Why am I deaf? Why me? Mm-hmm. I struggled with that for a long time. And I think that what really impacted me was that my parents gave me as many tools as possible for me to chase my dreams. You know, just buying me a drum set, for example, buying me a guitar, giving me some tips on different things so that I could feel like I belonged with them. But I realized later that being deaf was my superpower. It was my superpower because being deaf opened so many doors for me that would have never been opened if I was hearing. I mean, it's a fact.
I get it.
I mean, I think about in this town, in Detroit, there are so many talented musicians, songwriters, producers, there's so many. But me being deaf was, it was kind of like, oh, well, yeah, you know, they could do that, but I have a story, I have a superpower. It's ironic in a lot of ways because I know there is some, like, oh, they're giving him that because he's deaf. But I never looked at it like that. I always looked at it like, I worked for this.
Right.
I proved myself. I showed that I can. I showed up every day. I kept showing up. And I never let my deafness define me, but I let it define who I am as well, you know? Yeah. It's like, I just love it. And, you know, if it wasn't for that, you know, awakening at 17 years old, I'm not sure I would have went to RIT and TID. I'm not sure I would have pursued this field. You know, I remember that morning very clearly, and
it's a wake up.
I love this journey.
Yeah, it's a wake up call. I mean, because you realize you do have a hidden skill that you never knew you had before. Okay, to find out that
you were looking at it the wrong way.
Right? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so people will view the negative things about your disability, but that's outside source that influence the inside source in you. So it's up to you to make that change. You can accept what they say, what they view of you, how they think of you, or you can feel, okay, you don't know me. You're wrong. Let me prove it. So I practice, hone my deafness, my skill to learn and identify who I am. Keep practicing, keep building, learning as much as you can, and then, sure, walk the talk.
Yeah.
They will shut up. I mean, you will have people who are still trying to tell you, no, you can't, because they see you transforming. Right. And when you are transforming, trust me, it's a good thing. It scares them. That's how I feel.
I mean, another thing at that time, I was in a band. I was the drummer. I wrote all of the songs. And I'll never forget, one day we had some friends over at the house and everybody was checking us out. We were playing a song or whatever. And I remember, I don't think I've ever told anybody this, but I remember everybody laughed. And, me and my dad are very close. But I always looked for his approval, because I looked up to him as a musician. And I remember when everybody left, he came to me and he was like, those people are not paying attention to your other bandmates. They're paying attention to you. Like, you have a talent. You could take this thing as far as you want, but you have to want it. And I remember in that moment thinking like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean they're paying attention to me? And I think it took me a long time to realize that what he meant is that I had so much more to prove than anybody else. Mm-hmm. Because everybody else in the band was hearing, they're hearing and they have every reason to be better than me. But I was the one who was keeping the beat. I was the one who was writing these songs that were interesting. I was the one who was telling everybody what to do. Right. And I was the one who was like, guys, we got to start all over again. You screwed up. And it's just seeing that kind of leadership, if you will. Maybe I didn't realize it at the time, but, I just had a passion for it. And I wanted it. But I think once I accepted who I was, and it was probably roughly around that same time that I just accepted, like, this is who I am. I am a deaf man. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. So I could either be, I could wallow it in and just, or I could be proud of it.
Right.
And I'm glad I decided to take the proud route instead of the wallow in my pity.
I had people who was really telling me, you won't make it because you're deaf. You're hard of hearing at that time. You had a hearing problem. You need to be able to hear in order to become successful.
Right.
So that I remember at that time, people was telling me those little things. I even had teachers. Teachers was telling me before I coming out of that. Teachers was saying, college is not for you because you have a hearing problem and you need to be able to hear to pay attention. I'm like, but I grew up since elementary school all the way to high school without an interpreter. And I didn't even know what an interpreter was. And you're telling me I need to be able to hear? I still can't hear you. But I made it. But it didn't really sink in. It was just like a hidden fire, like, oh, you telling me I can't? Flame. Okay. I'm going to motivate you. I'm going to prove you wrong.
I think both of us have built a career on that alone.
Yeah.
People telling us you can't, because when somebody tells me, oh, that's impossible.
Oh, my
or you
gosh.
can't
I was
that.
so sick of it. I was so sick of it. I mean, I was like, you don't know me. You're deciding for me. Who are you? Okay. But I had to sit myself down. Can I really do it? Do I have to fight? Yeah. What? Because that fear of what they're saying still imprints on you. Okay. Right. Okay. And it's like they're trying to lock you in. So when you're growing, you are going beyond their thoughts. So people, as we talked about earlier, well, off the camera, people look at you, they rather you to stay in with who they know of you. Okay? So when you transforming, you are changing their view of you, and they don't like it. You're ruffling their view. You are destroying their view of you. Not your problem. If it's a positive thing to elevate and grow, keep going. Leave them behind. It's okay. If they want to meet with you, talk with you, all that, fine. Tell them, come up. You don't want? I'm not going back down. I'm going up. It's hard. It's tough, but it's your life. You want this? You chase it. You work for it. They will recognize later. They will. Or maybe they just still, you change. I don't know who you are anymore. It's okay. But you know what I've done.
Right. And will continue to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I encourage anyone who has a dream, chasing whatever your disability is, that is not the end.
No.
Your disability, you change that to make it become your superpower. It's you. People will fall in line and say, okay, I got you. Thank you for showing me. You know? So don't give up. Don't you ever give up.
Right. You're making me think about a lot of things. I mean, this journey has really been a blessing. You know, being deaf has been a blessing in so many ways because, you know, with my kids and hanging out with, parents at school or hanging out with just different people, you start to realize that because you're deaf, because you went to RIT, because you visited Gallaudet many times, because you've been to different events and you've touched all these different ASL programs, you've gone to different deaf schools, you've met so many amazing people from so many different walks of life that it's such a rich experience. Mm-hmm. And when I talk with other people, sometimes I realize that, you know, if I wasn't deaf, my experience would probably be the same as theirs. You know, I wouldn't be able to, go visit friends in California or go to Massachusetts and have friends there. You know, go to DC and have so many friends and people you want to link up with. It's a blessing, really. And then you learn so much in this journey. You learn about, during the pandemic when we were experiencing so many different things. I mean, that time to sit and reflect and learn and just learn about so many things, you realize that you are already ahead of the curve way before that.
Right.
You already knew how to address certain situations, or you were already doing that because of your past experiences and the people that you surround yourself with. Because in our community, deafness is just one thing, but we have Black deaf people, we have indigenous deaf people, we have deaf people that are also blind, deaf people who are autistic. You know, we have so many. We have deaf people in different countries. Mm-hmm. So it's like we all have this shared experience of being deaf and the ability to connect because of our deafness. The ability to learn who they are the ability for them to learn who you are as well. I mean, nothing beats that. Nothing seriously. That's what I love.
I just always want to put out there that regardless of the situation, be grateful. You know, when you thrive and succeed in whatever you're doing, please don't think that you did this by yourself, because you didn't. I can guarantee you, promise you, you did not do this by yourself.
No.
You know, you have people who were there.
Nothing in my career. I mean, people be like, I did this. Nothing in my career. I would not be where I am right now if I didn't pursue things, if I didn't just make things happen. Because I know many people who say, will, I will do that. I will. Until you actually do it, that's the only way you're going to find out the answer that you've been seeking.
Be grateful.
You got to just go for it and be grateful and be proud of who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, turn your disability into a superpower. I love that. I just came up with that on the whim, but I know it's out there.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's true. Your disability is your superpower.
We're still making big impacts. People with disability it may look like it's slow of impact we're making out there, but it is steadily growing up to more and more. So people starting to say, oh, okay. And for those people who are non-disabled, guess what? You will become us in the future. Glasses?
Or should I respond?
So don't worry. You're not alone. You have people who will back you, will show you the way, be your mentor, help you out, you know? So yes, you will become us.
Not saying that this journey is easy. It's far from easy. But it gets easier once you accept that's what I have. That's who I am. This is who I want to be. I want to spread good in this world. I want to make sure that people recognize that people like us are just like you. We love the same thing. We watch the same TV shows. We root for the same sports teams. You know, being deaf or having any sort of disability does not prevent you from pursuing your goals.
Right. So imagine all that.
If I wanted to work for the FBI, I would work for the FBI reading lips because that's my superpower.
There you go. Yeah. So those things, So imagine. You see why we fight for accessibility. You see why we're trying to make sure the equality is there for accessibility for people who are disabled and those who are non-disabled. So the increasement of accessibility is really important. I mean, we only have 16% of that because 1.3 billion people in the world with disability, 16% of the world has accessibility. So that's very tiny. And that's around the world. So imagine what it would look like if it was 25%, 50%, 70%. How long would it take? How bad you want it?
You make me think about one time one person said, Sean, I got to tell you something. I've been having these weird thoughts. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, can you imagine if like the whole world became deaf?
Oh.
Can you imagine? Like the whole world all of a sudden overnight became deaf. Hearing people would be, they wouldn't know what to do. It's like you probably have deaf people like running for president, taking over all of the Senate seats, probably going to have to swipe out the Supreme Court and place deaf people in there. That would be very interesting. I would definitely put you in there. You're a good person.
Thank you.
But it's interesting. Like, I mean, honestly, if that happened, like deaf people would be in like positions of power. I wouldn't call it positions of power, but we would be able to lead this world and what it's like to be deaf. I just thought that was fascinating when that person said that. I was like,
I remember,
man, you're having some really serious thoughts right now.
I remember there was, I think, a video clip where a community in a city where everyone learned sign for this one deaf person. And so everywhere he went, he was seeing people sign. It was mind blowing. And he felt he was emotional. He was really emotional. So to see that, I was like, wow, for the community to be willing to learn sign for that one deaf person. Wow. Accessibility. I mean, even if it was just for one day, but that one day was a lifetime impact.
Oh,
but that proves that we can do this. Why the resistance? What are you afraid of? Especially if you will become us in the future. So, a person with disability, we got it made.
I think when people say don't assume what that person's going through, I think it applies in a large scale. Is that you just can't, that person's not texting me back or that person's not being responsive. I think as a world, as humans, we need to be more compassionate and considerate of all people. You just never know what someone is going through.
Right.
And I mean, that's a very broad statement, but it really applies in a lot of different ways because it's like, sometimes at the grocery store, for example, I'm in line for the cashier and I'm like thinking like I'm always hypersensitive to what's going on around me because, like, for example, at the grocery store, you have a line, someone's trying to get through, and there's always going to be somebody that's going to be, excuse me. And they don't realize that we're deaf, or they don't realize that I just didn't hear them. Now, I've had a couple of situations where people were like, and I'm like, and they're like, excuse me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm deaf. And they're like, I'm sorry.
I've counted that a lot, too.
Of course, I was like, it happens.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we could practice a little bit more compassion and understanding, the world would be a much better place.
Yeah, I agree with you. It just made me flashback. I remember one time I was in line for something and I didn't know what was going on. I was just patiently waiting in line. And the guy just pushed me. Shoulder. And I was like, he said, and he was cussing me out. He said, I know you heard me, MF. And I looked and people was like, what's wrong? I said, brother, I don't know what your issue is, but I'm deaf. No, you're not, because you can speak. And I went, But happened to people in the store, some were my neighbors, so they knew. They said, he is deaf. And the guy was like, didn't even apologize. Just left. I was like, so my neighbor was actually apologizing for me. I was like, it's okay. No, but compassion. Yeah, we need that in this world. People just quick to assume they know, and when they don't.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, people, be proud of who you are. Be proud of your disability. Show it off. Let the world know who you are. Don't hide. Don't look at the positive side of everything, because you will get where you want to go if your attitude is there and you pursue it.
You're perfect just the way you are.
Yep.
No one changed that.
Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll be here. It is summertime, so we probably won't be as consistent, but we will try our best to bring love to you all. And Wawa.
Show some love.
dpan.tv, the sign language channel.